What's up guys, we're in that Dub Lab right now. I'm just finishing up packing and shipping a couple orders. Today's main objective on this video is going to be a CRF110 bike check. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me about my CRF110 and what I've done to it, so today we're going to go over everything I have done to that, and nobody should have any questions about my bike after today. So we'll get this thing rolling, but first I'm going to give you guys a little sneak peek. Just dropped on the Dub Lifestyle website. 2 new tank tops. We have a black one and a gray one. They are printed, shipped, everything by yours truly. So if you want to support me, support my channel, head over to the Dub Lifestyle website. This hat I'm wearing right now, it's pretty cool. It's like an unstructured hat and it's got this like rope in the front. If you can see it, it's all black. I don't know. They're pretty cool though. Let me know what you guys think about these in the comments below. If you like them, I'll drop them. If not, looks like I'm just making some for myself. We are in my shop now. We got, actually, I'll show you guys this. We got MDG. MDG bought himself a new ski so he could get out there, have some fun with us, take some pictures, the whole nine. He's gonna turf it. I don't know. If you guys want me to film a little bit on Mike doing his first ski, let me know in the comments below. But back to the main objective for today, the 2019 CRF110 bike check. I've never really done a bike check video before. What's pretty much inspired me to do this whole type of video is when I was younger and I rode BMX bikes, when I was like 14, 15, 16, I always used to go on Ride BMX and watch videos of, you know, BMX edits and whatnot. Another portion that they had on there was like bike checks where people could like go and watch videos of pro BMX riders and you would see the whole detail from top to bottom and they would just go over their entire bike. So I figured, why not do the same thing for my pit bike? I'm gonna go ahead and start writing on the whiteboard from the top to bottom of everything I've put on this bike, and then I'll also have every single part linked in the description down below. There it is. I made a little checklist for me to go over, give you guys every little point of this bike. Don't mind my handwriting, but it's to get the point across of what I need to go over for myself. So first I want to start off with the grips. I have ODI Ruffian half waffle grips. These grips mounted to a full-size throttle tube. If anybody knows, I've had this question a lot. This is the stock throttle tube. This is a Motion Pro throttle tube, and I've heard of people getting them to work without having to do anything, which I couldn't figure out how to do. This throttle tube will be linked down in the description down below. It's an 061080 from Motion Pro. That's the part number. T-Bolt has a few in stock, I'm pretty sure. But if you go back and watch my last build video, you could see me actually dremeling the throttle tube before I put it on. And pretty much all I did, I'll give you a little sneak peek. I'm not sure if the camera could pick it up, but there's a groove all the way around the edge right here of the throttle tube. I'd say it's about 1/8 of an inch deep all the way around. The Motion Pro throttle tube didn't have that, so I pretty much just dremeled that in, and I just thought it was because the cables couldn't reach all the way around the undremeled throttle tube. It was a pretty quick fix if you have a Dremel. I talked to Vince at T-Bolt this morning, and he said that they're working on getting these things machined. And they're just gonna make them and sell them ready to go for you guys. I'm pretty sure, but I might mail this over to them and get them so they could get the right dimensions and everything. But if you guys are feeling a little frisky and want to just get at one with the Dremel, go ahead and order yourself one of those because it is possible. I have it right here, it's mounted. Vince had these cables laying around. I think they're to a CRF125, I believe, or the 125F if I'm mistaken. I believe it's for that bigger size trail bike they have. These are the cables to them. So they bolted right up to the 110, and I have the throttle regular position. I can turn the bars and the cables are routed through the normal direction with the tall bars on here. They're working on getting a set to sell directly at T-Bolt, so be on the lookout for those. But in the meantime, I'll link this set in the description down below. So a little front end review, Triple Trees, they are powder coated by RC Hot Coats, so shout out to them to getting this whole bike actually powder coated. Everything that's was silver, that's colored on this thing, besides the forks right here, was done by RC Hot Coats, and then the forks were done by SGB Racing, of course. If you want your forks to look like this, hit them up, send them your forks, you'll get them coated like this. Inside of them, I have the BBR damping rods and fork springs. That gives it 1.5 inch lift for ride height up front. To compensate for that, you need a new front brake cable, and I also did the new front brake lever that's black and a little smaller than OEM. Those are right off T-bolt. Fork oil, I use Bel-Ray 30 weight. Stock in these things come 15 weight. I've heard of people running 60 weight even from a Harley. It really don't matter, just whatever you're comfortable with. The front wheel is mounted to a Dunlop MX33. Inside of it is a Moose Racing heavy duty tire tube. I believe they're like 3.2 or 3.7 millimeters thick. It was the thickest tube I could find, as well as rim locks. If you don't have a rim lock on your bike, you definitely need one front and rear. My front one's a 1.65. All I did was just get an anodized valve stem cover to kind of go with the hubs. So yeah, that pretty much finishes off the whole front end. So let's move back on the bike. We got the Traction MX seat cover. This is a must-have. I pretty much have these on every single bike I ride now. Next is my 450. It doesn't have one, but it's coming. It's on its way. We'll go down the front of the bike. We have a BBR skid plate underneath. TB parts shifter. It's like an inch longer, I believe. I don't know if you could see that. Yeah, you could totally see it. Back here it says Kinetic MX. They make this shift shaft brace. It bolts on it right here and right here. And you can see right there, it braces that shift shaft. So you don't bend that if you hit these things on a root. Underneath I got the Kinetic MX peg bar. It's a little stronger than stock, and they are connected to some DRC wide foot pegs, so you don't slip off those little pegs that come on here stock. Up to here we have just a powder coated swing arm, the red anodized front sprocket cover, as well as a Sunstar MX420 gold chain. Sprockets I'm running stock. The back one was just powder coated, so that's why it's black. They are the stock sizing though. To compensate with the 1.5 inch lift in the front, the back I do a Fox Float MXR shock. They're actually discontinued. You cannot find these anymore unless you find one used. So sorry guys, that is not a part I can link in my description. You're gonna have to do a little digging on the internet, maybe hit up some friends, try to find yourself one. They're pretty hard to come by, but if not, T-Bolt does have some alternatives, and they are stiff shock, so they're good. There's this quad website called Wall Brothers Racing, I believe it is. They have spacers for these things, and you need 1.5 inches of spacers on this. I use 2.75 inch spacers. Exhaust, we're still stock. I know a lot of people have been telling me to get an exhaust. I ride the stock class at Englishtown. A few races around here we have require stock pipes, but I don't know, pipes do make the bike nice, but I'm not really about a loud pit bike. I'd rather just ride my 450 if I want to ride something fast and loud. And then last but not least, we have the back tire. It's a Dunlop MX33, same as the front, as well as the rear tube. It is also a Moose Racing heavy duty tube in the rear. Again, we have a rim lock from T-Bolt. This is a 1.8 in the rear, and the valve stem cover to finish it off. So yeah, that pretty much finishes off this entire bike. The only thing we're waiting on right now is a set of graphics. MGX, they actually sent me a proof of them over the weekend. I'm excited to get that kit done. We will have a Delb kit for these. It is coming. That's going to be the only thing that's going to be added to this bike really that I don't have in the video today. Now that I've gone over pretty much everything in the bike and I have that whiteboard written out with all my parts on it, I'm going to go ahead and calculate the cost to build this thing from scratch, because I have gotten that question quite a few times now since I have this thing done. In the meantime, while I calculate how much this is, I just posted in my story to ask me a question I'm going to answer in my next vlog. Let's get this price calculated up and we'll see if we get some questions rolled in by the time I'm done with it. I got my whole list right here of everything that went into this 110. It took me a couple minutes to get it all sorted out, but I have it all here now. So if you base this bike off of MSRP, which is $2,399, and then all the parts I have put into this thing, the total value comes to $4,914.38. So for all of you guys who've been asking how much this bike comes out to, it depends what kind of deal you get at your dealership, but it's just shy of $5 grand. Might be more, might be less, I don't know. It depends what kind of deal you end up getting on stuff. This pit bike is pretty much everything you could possibly do to a 110 without touching the motor. It's a stock 110, just fully dressed up, ready to go. I put that question thing out on my Instagram story before, and I actually got a few good questions, so I'm gonna answer a couple. Let's check out some of these questions I got in my story right now. I've got a couple questions of why I don't race anymore. I mean, I kind of got out of it and more into my Delb stuff, and that was really it. I don't know. And then it's just now I mean, it's not really a priority for me to go race. It's just I already have so much going on with trying to keep up with the Delb stuff, making these videos. Another one was what's my best finish at Loretta's. My best moto finish was a second, and my best overall finish was a second. Which pitter am I taking to the Brawl? I'm not sure. Probably my KLX. I don't know. We'll see. This is a pretty good question. Shout out to Craigathen _404. It's if you could do one upgrade to a bone stock KLX 110, what would it be? That's a tricky question. I have to look at mine and see. All right, well that was pretty quick. Flat out bars. That would really be it. You cannot ride with a stock set of bars. Those things are terrible. If I had to pick a second one for that, it would be a frame cradle, and a third one for that would be a shifter with a bendy tip on it. And yeah, that would be it for the KLX. That would be like my bare necessities. That was a good question. This question is, how do you feel about China bikes? Teo, I believe it's pronounced. SSR, Coolster, etc. I'm not too sure. I'm not really a fan of them, and I can't really talk too much about them because I've never had one myself. I've just kind of like based my opinion off of what my friends have said on them. If anybody would be interested in me getting some type of Chinese pit bike and riding it at my track and reviewing it, comparing it to one of these, let me know in the comments below, because I wouldn't be opposed to doing that. Those pit bikes aren't that much money, and it'd be a fun little project to see how they actually are up against these on a track with like big jumps and whatnot. How are the tennis balls holding up in the PW80 tire? They're holding up good. I have them in there still. A lot of the questions on here were how much my pit bike cost. We already went over all that, so answered that for all you guys. A lot of the other questions are people wondering how this bike compares up to the old CRF and this bike compares up to the KLX. I've already done a video on this compared to a TTR when I first got this. If you want stuff like that and get some comparison videos, drop it in the comments below. That's my 2019 CRF110 bike check. Shout out to all the companies that helped out with this thing. Traction MX, T-Bolt USA, SGB Racing, MGX Unlimited, RCHC Powder Coating, JCrack29 helping me out with a couple of the bearings on this thing. I gotta ride this thing. I'll get you guys a first ride on it. Break it in, go over everything, make sure she's ready to go. There's one more race at E-Town this year for the Pit Bike Series. I believe it is August 24th. I do want to race this one there, my new pit bike, so I need to test and tune this thing before the race, make sure everything is ready to go. But now that this whole bike is done, I guess I can start trying to focus on what I want to do to my 450. I definitely want to build this thing up. Let me know what you guys think about it. That's going to be it for my 2019 CRF110 bike check. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please remember to subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.